Hello and welcome back to Devi Daily Yoga for this restorative yin practice where we'll release stress, melt away tension, and find deep relaxation. We'll use props in this session to invite a sense of ease and surrender, allowing the body to fully melt into the poses. For our practice today, you're welcome to use a blanket or two, a couple of yoga blocks, a cushion, and a yoga bolster if you have one. If you don't have all these props, that's perfectly all right. I'll guide you through some variations. If you have an extra blanket, it might be nice to spread it out over your mat so that you have an extra layer of cushioning and warmth. Go ahead and settle into a cozy spot with all your favorite props nearby, and we'll begin our supported yin yoga practice. We'll begin with a gentle heart opener, lying back over a bolster or a couple of blocks in fish. If you're using blocks, one block will come under the heart and one block under the head. If you're lying back over your bolster, make sure that it's supporting the back of the heart so that you feel an opening in the chest and the lungs. For the block option, you want to make sure that the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are being supported by that first block, and the base of the skull is being supported by the second block. Take the time you need to find the right height of the blocks. If you want more sensation, you can lift up the one that's under your mid-back. Wherever you land, whether it's on blocks or a bolster, the option with the legs is to bring them into a diamond shape with the feet together and the knees wide. If you want more sensation, you can take the block that's under your head down a notch or two. Ease into a position that opens the throat, the collarbones, the front of the shoulders, and the heart. Spread the arms out and breathe into the chest and into the heart. Begin to surrender to gravity, allowing the earth and the props to hold the weight of your body. Take a deep breath or two into the body and allow your shoulders to melt down toward the ground as you exhale, releasing any tension. For the last few moments here, it might feel good to reach the arms over the head, interlacing fingers and pressing the palms away. And you can take a big inhale like a yawn, and exhale to release arms to your sides and slowly push up out of the pose. Moving carefully and slowly to transition right into our next posture, which is butterfly. Keeping the legs in this diamond shape, maybe sliding your cushion under your seat or a folded blanket. Bend forward with or without support under the head. Option to use blocks under the head, piling them up to find just the right height. Your blocks could be on the inside of your feet or in front of your feet. Feel free to adjust your blocks higher or lower till you find just the right amount of stretch in the back body and the inner thighs. Settling in now to this counter stretch after opening the heart and the front of the shoulders. Now stretching into the back body, the upper back, the back of the shoulders, the middle back. Notice how time and patience allow you to soften deeper into the pose. Notice how each breath that passes allows your physical body to deepen into the shape. To release butterfly, use your hands to push yourself up, gently coming to an upright spine. And then draw the knees back together and begin to transition into a hands and knees position, putting your cushion aside, putting your blocks aside, placing hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and finding movement, circling the torso and the spine, sensing into what your body's calling for in this moment as you move intuitively, letting the energy move through spine and hips. We'll begin to shift into Swan now, sliding the left knee forward, angling the lower leg so the left foot comes toward the right hip. Maybe using a cushion under your seat. Before coming forward, take a moment to press into the hands, open the heart, lift the spine, and stretch into the front of the right hip. Take a big breath in, and let the exhale take you forward into Sleeping Swan. Find your variation with your elbows on the floor or a block or two under your forehead. Option also to rest your elbows and your head on your bolster, or to pull your bolster under your chest and head. Arranging the props and arranging your body in a way that helps you feel a stretch in the left glutes. As you breathe into the body, you might send the breath into this left hip and imagine the breath like a gentle wave moving through the body and washing away tension as you exhale. We'll slowly begin to exit Sleeping Swan now. Lift your head and press up. And come back to hands and knees. And gently move the torso and the spine. Once again, sensing into what the body is asking for. Feeling deeply into the energetic flow happening within. Beautiful. And now let's take it to the second side with the right knee sliding forward, the shin angling, perhaps supporting the right hip with a folded blanket or a cushion. Extend up through the heart into Up Swan. Breathe into the front of the left hip and exhale forward into Sleeping Swan. Find your variation. Notice what's different on this side from the first side. Find a comfortable way to rest elbows or head. Adjusting as needed while you settle in so you can allow your body to yield into the pose, inviting surrender. And let gravity do the work. No need to force or strain. Inviting the body to soften and melt into the support beneath you. Slowly come out of Sleeping Swan. Gently make your way to hands and knees, putting your props aside. And take any movement that feels good after your Sleeping Swan on both sides. And with your intuitive movement, inviting energy to flow through the body, sensing what's happening inside the spine and the hips. And let's transition now into saddle. Taking time to set up the right pose for yourself. I'll show you several variations, and if you already know what variation you'd like to do, you could begin now. One choice is to set up 2 blocks behind you as you sit on top of your feet, or another choice is to sit down on the floor in between your feet and rest back over the blocks with one block supporting the back of the heart and the other block supporting the head. If this leg position isn't comfortable, you could rest back in a supported butterfly over a bolster or blocks. A second choice for saddle with more props is to use a bolster and incline it on 1 or 2 blocks, sitting in front of the bolster and resting back. And you may not need the bolster to be inclined, in which case you could let it just be flat on the floor, choosing if you'd like to support under your seat. And as you come back, you might also want to have a little extra support under your head, like a folded blanket or a cushion. take the time you need to arrange your body into a shape that allows the energy to flow as you stretch the front of the hips and the front of the thighs. With the upper body, you might allow the arms to open out, palms facing up, finding an angle of the arms that supports this energy flow through the upper body as well. Using props to help ease tension and support the body, encouraging a deeper release and allowing us to let go of control so we can simply be in the pose. Breathing in and out, resting deeper and more easily with each passing breath. Continuing to rest for a few more breaths. It might feel good to let the arms reach over the head, interlacing fingers, pressing the palms away. And slowly, when you're ready, release. Begin to rise up carefully. If you have support under your hips, remove it. And we'll come into child's pose. If you're using a bolster, you can slide it forward through the legs to rest your chest and head on. Or you can take child's pose without props, resting the chest and belly over the legs. Notice the sensation of being completely supported and held, knowing you're safe here. You can let go. Embracing the space between each breath. Slowly now, push up from child's pose. Make your way into a seated position. Extend your legs in front of you Bring them out wide for dragonfly. As you come forward, you can choose if you'd like to support yourself with blocks, maybe under the elbows or the forehead, or if you'd like to use your bolster. And the bolster could be inclined on a block to lift it up higher. And you could rest your forearms or your chest on the support. And if you're comfortable with the bolster flat, then you could put your blocks aside. It might feel extra supportive to slide a cushion or a folded blanket under your seat as well. As you come into your variation with your choice of prop, you'll begin to feel a sensation of gentle stretch in the back body, including the back of the torso, the spine, and the back of the legs, and maybe also the inner thighs. Find your edge, the place where you feel a mild, healthy stretch. Using more props if needed, so you can allow the pose to unfold organically. Remembering this is a place of surrender, not striving. Begin to breathe deeply into the areas of sensation. Slowly and gently start to come up out of dragonfly, and with your spine upright, take a pause. You could press into the thighs, feel the energy moving through the legs. Roll the shoulders, roll the head and neck. And start to shift into the next pose where we'll come onto the back for cat's tail. Before we come down, we'll set up our space, putting props aside, and setting up a small cushion under the head. This can be a blanket, folded up not too high, or a small cushion or a small block. Come to lie down on your right side. Place your head on the cushion and extend your right arm out. Bend your left knee and rotate your torso so your belly is pointed not toward the sky but more down toward the floor. This way we can get more of the front of the right thigh on the ground as we bend the right leg. Reach the left hand back to hold the right foot and begin to peel back through the left shoulder, letting the back of your skull rest on the cushion. There's a nice way to deepen into this twist if you bend your right elbow and press the elbow down to lift the right shoulder blade up and over to the right. As you settle in, you might choose to use a bolster under your left knee and foot and shin, or you can use a block under the knee, a block under the foot, or no props at all if it doesn't feel like it's helping. And as you hold this foot behind you, notice the many sensations and dimensions of this pose. We're stretching into the front of the right hip, twisting the spine, and opening the left shoulder back. As you settle in, you might be able to deepen by kicking back into the left hand, creating more length in the front of the right hip. And wherever you are, wherever you've landed, imagine creating more space with each breath. And now slowly release cat's tail. Bring the knee back up, straightening out hips and shoulders. Come into constructive rest, lying on the back. Before we move to the next side, knees bent, feet wide, one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. Breathe into the belly and into the heart. And slowly shift to the second side. Begin by lying on the left side. Bend the right knee, extend the left leg. Tilt the hips so the front of the left thigh is near the floor. As you bend the left foot, reach right hand back to left foot and begin to peel right shoulder open. You can deepen into the twist by bending the left elbow, pressing the elbow down to bring the left shoulder over to the left side more, and arranging any props under your foot, your knee, eventually settling into a nice open chest. Head might be turned a bit toward the right, or whatever feels comfortable for your twist. Inhale, create space. Exhale, release tension. Slowly now, releasing cat's tail. Once again, return to center, straightening out hips and shoulders to come into constructive rest. Hands resting on the body. Feel the energy flowing freely up and down the spine with each breath. And now let's slowly transition into our next posture, which is waterfall. Remove the support from under your head. You'll either use your bolster or one block to slide under your hips in a bridge pose. Settling the hips down on your bolster or block. And take a breath here in bridge. And when you're ready, begin to bend the knees and extend the legs up over the head. Your legs might come straight up, or it might feel good to let them angle toward the head, getting a deeper stretch in the back body. Option to keep the arms resting on the floor, or to hold on to the backs of the legs, maybe the calves, the ankles, or if it's comfortable to hold the feet. You might either wrap the hands around the heels or the toes, or take the first and second fingers around the big toe in a toe lock. Or another choice is to simply let the arms rest on the floor above your head. Letting gravity take the legs and breathing space into the back body along the length of the spine and the backs of the legs. To release, begin to slowly bend your knees, letting the feet find the floor, returning to your bridge. Lifting the hips and sliding the bolster down to support the backs of your knees. Resting in Savasana now, with any support under your head that feels right, a cushion or a folded blanket. You might also choose to spread a blanket out over your body, keeping yourself warm, maybe an eye pillow over your eyes. Take the time that you need to settle into a cozy and comfortable position. And once you feel ready to fully settle in, invite the body to be still. And notice how within this stillness, energy and sensation continue to move and flow and change with each passing moment. As you take your next breath in, imagine the breath expanding the body outward in all directions. As you exhale, empty the lungs fully, letting go of whatever you don't need. Now gently begin to breathe into the body. Inhale to the belly and into the heart space. And as you exhale, gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And stretch out into your legs and interlace the fingers, press the arms and palms up and away. As you release, slowly bend your knees, roll over to the side, and push up to a comfortable seat, using a cushion or bolster under your seat if you'd like. And sitting with the spine upright, hands resting on the legs, close the eyes. Closing out the practice by taking one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Taking 2 or 3 breaths now, feeling the belly expand, the chest rising and falling. And when you're ready, allow the palms to come together in front of the heart, and we'll close with a breath in, circling the arms around. Let the palms meet overhead, lift the gaze, pull the hands down in front of the heart. And that's our restorative, supported yin yoga practice. Be sure to move slowly and gently into the next part of your day. If you're new here, my name is Devi. Thank you for taking the time to join me today on the mat. Hope to see you again very soon the next time we practice together.